So all of the things I'm going to show you today are things you want to do before you call an HVAC guy, an electrician, or a plumber. All these things can help you solve the problems on your own. If you can't fix them this way or you run into an issue, then you can call these people. This is all part of the process of becoming a well-rounded homeowner. All right, so these are all basically good tools that you want to keep around the house. A wrench, crescent wrench, you can use this to tighten. Screwdriver, flathead. It's best to get a multi-tool, Phillips, flathead, different sizes. And it should have a handle that comes with it. Lubricant, silicone, really good, can fix a lot of squeaky hinges, squeaky door entries, the tracks. It's good to have around. Even a set of Allen wrenches, it's good to keep around because some things need these little wrenches. I don't know. Basically just try and maintain all these tools in your house as a homeowner. Okay, so the second most important thing you can do to maintain your air conditioning, and the simplest, is changing the filter. Ideally every month. Second ideal would be 2 to 3 months, depending on if you have pets, if you have a lot of kids, or if because this basically sucks in dirt. So I would change it at the bare minimum every 3 months. It's really easy. All you do is push these tabs up, take it down. You see how it's dated? This filter right here has a date on it. You pull it out. It's dated 8/28/20 is when this filter was in. Now we can leave this in because no one's in the house. There's not a lot of dirt, so it's not a big deal. It has its size written on the filter. Right here, it says 16 by 16. That's the size of the filter. And it also has a direction. See how it says airflow? So when you get a new filter, make sure you put the airflow facing in. And we even put some directions on here for us. And even wrote the size of the filter. So it's very important. This filter here, it's clean. I don't know if you can see my hand through it. That means it's really clean. If it was dirty, they would have dust and everything built up on it. You couldn't see through it. Don't clean it. Throw it away. Buy a new one. They're cheap, like $4, and it saves your air conditioning, and it'll help keep everything running good. See how it snapped right in there? That means you've got a good pull. So it's just pulling everything in this way. After you put that back in, this way, and that's it. So in recap, ideally, if you have a lot of animals and a lot of dirt in the house, every month, minimum every 3 months. Lesson in taking care of your HVAC system, this is usually where it's at in our houses, behind the door here, usually next to your thermostat. You would open the door. You will see, as we went over, I explained this, is the most important part of your house is the air condition, and a couple things will make it last forever, and you really want it to last forever. It gets expensive. The first and easiest thing to do, and you want to do this about every 3 months, is to actually take this little piece off, and it's connected to a line that runs to your outside, and it's the condensation water that the air conditioner sucks all the moisture out of the house and produces water. This can get clogged up with GAC or If you have pet dander, if you have just, it can get filled up with this, it makes this white jelly stuff, and you want to get that out of your system so it doesn't back up. Easiest thing to do is just use bleach, cheap bleach, every, I would say, like I said, 3 months, and just put a cap full in, and then dump it right in this thing. It doesn't have to be, there's a little hole right here, it doesn't have to be perfect. It doesn't matter if you get a little on here. This is all, you know, pressure treated wood, so you can just dump it in there. And that one cap full, I'm gonna put this back on, will help keep your system clean, which is the most important part in this section here, and the only reason you should ever really go in here. If I can show you another thing up close, it's called a safety switch, and it's right here. And what this is, it is a shutoff. If you ever get too much water built up in the system, it'll back up, come up here. It's like a float switch. It'll float up and shut the power off to this unit and your thermostat. That means you have a water backup issue. I will show you how to fix that when we go outside. So this is the third part of air conditioner maintenance. Like I said, we have a drain line right here. That is what we poured our bleach in when I showed you inside. It is dripping a lot of water. That is a good thing. That means it's pulling out a lot of moisture. And you want it to drip water. You want it to flow out of here easily. But like I said, every now and then it'll get clogged up with jelly or just gack or stuff. And you want to be able to suck that out. What I recommend is buying a shop vac. It could even be a small one like this. And you will always have a plug by your air conditioning unit. It'll either be here or right here. This one happens to be on the other side, but it is close enough to plug in. So you'd plug this in. And this is how I do it at my house. I would take this, and once it's turned on, I would hold it right here and just kind of close up, you know, kind of hold it like that, close it around there, and it would suck all the water out of there, any kind of gack or gunk or anything like that. If you do this every 6 months, you can almost guarantee this will never clog up. You won't have any water build up inside your house or drip down anywhere, and it'll help everything run more efficiently. Another thing out here while we're here is you don't want any weeds to grow up into this unit. You don't want to have grass or anything kind of growing in. This here is fine because it's not getting sucked in, but this is what cools everything inside the house. So if you have weeds grown in it, it blocks up or fills up the coils and stops them from working efficiently. But the main thing you want to do is make sure this is dripping. And once you suck it out, it won't drip for a little while, but it will eventually fill back up again. Hi, so this part is how to fix doors. Occasionally these doors, knobs, will become loose. Overused, people pulling them, open them. They do get up, they work themselves loose a little. It's not really a big deal. The best way to fix them is to have a screwdriver with a Phillips tip. Another good tool you should have around the house. And if it does come loose, I'm going to loosen this one up. I've got a screw here. You see how I just turned this knob down? That's how it'll probably be, well, this one's on. Yeah, if it does wobble, these are really good locks, so they should never come loose, but if it does, you see how it's wobbling like this? Don't let it go beyond this. All you gotta do is take this screwdriver, tighten it up, turn it down. Tighten it up. They make it very easy for you to do. and then everything should work. All right, so in your home, you'll have these sliding bypass doors. So they're made so one door opens at a time. That way you can, push it this way and get to your closet. They're held on by, they're kept on line by this thing, this guy here. They're really pretty simple. There's not a lot to them, but they don't take abuse very well. If you slam them really hard, they can damage your drywall. Or if they're pushed really hard this way, they can get pushed off a track. Ideally, you just want to easily push them. You see how the handles line up? So really it should be like this. These knobs are on both sides. This you're going to have to come on the inside to see and have a light, but this is your track. And on the back, there are rollers. You can't see them because these are hidden, but these are what the wheels roll on this track right here. Every now and then, it may get dry, so if you have any WD-40, you can always spray your track and it'll make everything slide nice and smooth. You really should never have to take these off. It's really hard to take them off the track. They should never come off the track. If you do, the best way is to kind of shove them up in there, pull them back and lock them in. So, this is the plumbing section of this home maintenance. I want to show you just kind of the easy ways to avoid any issues with your plumbing and damage to your cabinets. Obviously, this is all put in. It's all plastic. It has all these little joints on it. All these little joints here are tightened by hand. They do that on purpose so you can disconnect it and clean it out. The main thing you want to do is try your best not to put a lot of products under this sink that bump and hit this stuff. Although it's tight, like I said, it's hand tight, you don't want to damage it because it can come loose and it can cause a leak. If you do have a leak, figure out how to fix it as quick as you can. This is a pressboard material and it can get damaged by water. If you need to tighten this or tighten that, it can fix that drain leak. The other part of leaks that can happen in your home is every now and then your faucet up here can leak. Stuff goes bad. There's a cartridge in here, it can go bad and it can leak. Sometimes you'll have water come out through here, you'll have water come out through the back. These are usually on very old faucets, say up to 5 to 6 years old. So, if that ever happens, you want to change it out. Best way to change this out is to learn how to shut off your water. To shut your water off, you have these knobs here, these clear knobs. Sometimes they'll be silver, sometimes they'll be white. For whatever reason, these are clear. All they do is turn just like you would your hose bib outside. Now I've turned these, and that should shut all the water off up here. Both sides, hot and cold. What that allows you to do is disconnect this. But mainly what it does, if you ever have any issues or major leaks coming from your water, you want to shut that off immediately. And then try and diagnose the problem. Turn them back on. So the water is coming on. Another thing that happens to these valves, shutoffs, bushings in them get dry because you're not using them. So sometimes when you turn them, you'll have a little water come out. So you close it all the way, you'll have a little drip. And as soon as you tighten it all the way up, the drip will stop. And then when you back it out, you get another little drip all the way out and the drip will stop. It's pretty common. The older they get, everything needs to be changed out. The same thing goes for your dishwasher. Your shutoff is back here. And it's the same exact way. It's just the way this one was configured. This here is the plug for your garbage disposal. Once again, oh, the garbage disposal, very good. You don't want to put cuttings in it. If it's basically, if you have leftover food on your plate, you can run it into your garbage disposal. It's not meant to put away, grind up vegetables or meat or anything like that and process it. It will clog this up. So I'll show you up here. Yeah, this is your, don't ever stick your hand in there because that is the garbage disposal. This is the shutoff for all the water to your home. Basically, you take this lid off, and if I can get the camera to come down and look at this lever here, you'll see a blue lever. It's running in line with the plumbing. So as long as everything looks like it's in line, so it's going in the direction of the plumbing, that means water is flowing. If you ever need to shut the water off to your house, you come out here, you open this up, you find this, and you turn it. It shows you on and off. You see how now it's no longer in line. That means it is stopped water going to your house. This is the best thing. If you can't figure out how to shut a leak off, just come out here and turn this off and see if you can fix the problem like I showed you before, and then call a plumber. This part of homeowner maintenance and service is the water heater. You have a hybrid water heater. That means it has lots of functions. All of the functions are on this screen. It's fairly intuitive. Right now, you see how it reads water heater off. That means it is not making any hot water heater. In order to turn it on, you'd want to hit mode. Now it is on energy saver mode and it'll make the water 120 degrees. If you want to raise it up, see how you have two arrows? And it says very hot, hot, and warm. Move it up. It gives you a little warning saying risk of scalding. I think 121 is fine, but turn it back down to 120. The other modes, energy saver, that's the most efficient. Vacation mode, you set it to the days you're away and it'll keep the water heater off. After you're done with this, hit mode again. Now back in energy saver mode. Now it says heat pump mode. This is where the hybrid water heater comes in. This unit up here, if you can see, is basically like a small air condition. And what it does, it cools the air around it when it needs to make hot water. So, this is what this unit is designed to be, is on heat pump mode. I would let it run this way. It'll keep your garage cool, it'll save you electricity, and it will make a barrier of cold air before it gets to your house in the summertime. It's It's pretty simple. If you don't want to use that, you can go to a different mode again. Usually you just run through all the modes: energy saver mode, heat pump mode, high demand mode. Obviously, if you're using a lot of water, you have a lot of people in the house, you go to high demand. That is really all you need to touch. If you want to know more, everything comes with instructions. So read your instructions, or you can easily go online and find out any more information about all of this. So on this water heater, I just explained to you everything, how this works. The one thing that you need to know, much like the shutoff, is under your sink and under your kitchen sink, under your bathroom sink, the water heater has a shutoff as well. It's this blue lever here. This means there's no longer water going to your water heater. So if you have a leak in the hot anywhere in this thing, you can always turn this off. Or if you need to replace it, is your main shutoff. These things get a little stiff over time. They get a little harder to turn. So it may feel like it doesn't want to go, but it will move. So because this is a little air conditioner on top, just like your air conditioner inside the house, it has a filter. It is right here. This filter, it's going to collect gack and dust just like your other one would. But this one is made to be washed. So you can take this filter outside, clean it with a hose, and make sure it's clear. Just like so you can see my hand through it. Once it's clear, put it back in. Obviously it has writing on the top, so that's the top. There's a little slot up here. It's a little tricky to get in, but it will go. I would say check this every 6 months. But this air conditioner is working now and is blowing cold air. Because your water heater is in the garage, but it is also on the same level as your home. So we had to put a pan in here. This black pan is made to catch any water that ever drips through here. This pipe here and this valve here. This valve is called a temperature and pressure release valve. What it does, if the temperature ever gets over hot in the water heater, it will release a little bit of water into the pan. And then what that's supposed to do is leak out onto your floor. It's made to leak onto your floor so you see it. This is meant to let you know if you have damage to it. So if you do have any water down here coming from this, you definitely want to call either a plumber, just a plumber. In your home, all the lights are all LED lights. So they're not typical bulbs that you unscrew and put in. So this is a complete LED cam light. If it ever goes bad, which they do, all you do is take it down, pull this down like this, and there's two metal springs, or basically to do it would be a spring. You would squeeze them, and this is a little tricky. It takes a little patience to get used to dealing with this. You can't hurt yourself at all, but so then your LED light would hang like this. Most of them, replacements, then have a normal screw, just like a normal light bulb. So it would screw just in like that. You can buy these at Lowe's, Home Depot, usually about $10 a piece. They'll last quite a long time. All right, so to put it back in, and this is where it gets tricky. First you want to screw this back in. Just like a normal light bulb inside this can light. And this is the part that I think is the hardest thing to do with these can lights. These little springs, these legs, what you want to do is squeeze one, and there's a little bitty latch that you hook it onto, and you do one at a time. Now I can squeeze this one. And this is the hardest part. You gotta kind of hold your mouth right, kind of squint, use two fingers, and then, so now it's back. Shove it back up. That is not the easiest way to do it. There are easier ones, but you shouldn't have an issue with them. Just a little practice and patience. Okay, so your side light and your porch light are probably the most difficult lights to change out. This jelly jar here, that's what we call it, has a light bulb inside the glass because it's outside. Changing it, you have to undo these little bitty brass set screws. Sometimes they will bind up like this one is. So I wound up needing a wrench, another good tool for you to buy to maintain your home well. Because you always need something to pull on something with or open something with, and this will do the job. So I was loosening this brass screw, and there's another one on the back side, but it was rusted tight, so my fingers couldn't turn it, so I need to get this wrench. Basically you want to grab it, and twist it just a little bit to break, not break it, but loosen it up. Now if these are loose, you want to make sure you loosen them up. You don't want to take it out all the way. Loosen up. You don't want to lose those screws. I did. I caught it. So this is a good way to learn how to do things. So you want to keep an eye on these little screws and this little jar. Screw in the jar. This one out. I loosen it just enough. So then we just unscrew the light bulb again. Put the new one in. And it should come on. Now, got my little brass screw. Start it. So now the screw's been started on both. Take this glass, it is glass. Kind of wedge it up in there and just hand tighten it. We don't want to over tighten it. There it is. So we all know smoke detectors beep sometimes. Usually when they beep, they make the noise and you're wondering where it's coming from. It'll be just an annoying chirp every now and then. Usually it's really hard to find the one that is beeping. But when you do locate it, best way to fix that is to change the battery. All of our smoke detectors have the same setup, so I can show you this, and they're the same throughout all our homes. It's this little lever here. It's this little button, you push it out, and you can take wrangle this battery out somehow. Like that. It's just a 9 volt. And then you get a new 9 volt and then you basically wrangle the battery back in. Which I have to do from the other side. Slides right in there. See, it came right out. Slides right in there. Push it back and you're good to go. There should be a little green light right here that says it's working. Don't need to take this off to do it. You can, but you see it's wired in. So no matter what happens, even if your battery has died, you'll always have power to your smoke detector. Okay, this is very simple. Your blinds, they are nice blinds. They don't have a pull string. These are designed, the best way to push these up and down is to grab them with both hands. Pull them outside the window. Move this out your way. You just keep pushing them up. And then let them go back inside your window. Then when you want to close them, bring them down, both hands outside the window, and they're done. They're held on with brackets, so you don't want to yank on them. It's all basically lit. Don't force the resistance. And then, simple turn these to basic maintenance on blinds.